All right, they start the game off with knight f3. And what I normally do is I set up the Pirc defense or Pirc defense. This is called the ready opening that they did. So Pirc invitation, and then they go, okay, pawn d4, and now I continue developing for the Pirc defense. So they move. You know, you don't really need to think much. You just set up the Pirc defense, which is like a King's Indian, and obviously the pawn goes to d6 at the beginning. So you just keep moving, and then you castle. So this is basically the setup. And now what I'm thinking of doing at this point is, you know, in my mind, the mindset here is you keep that fortress on the left, you know, the king in his little fortress. And the idea is just to try to develop pieces as much as possible. And that's it. You just try to develop pieces and push everything, all the pawns on the right to get to the end. The left stays as a solid fort. The right is the dynamic side, the flexible moving side. And you just try to position your attacking pieces, and you try to develop as quickly as possible too. And when you have a chance to kick their opposing pieces, you do that. So let's see what happens. All right, so my next move, bishop goes there. It controls a lot more squares, so I guess the idea is, the principle here is control more squares, move the bishop out. And then they castle, and so I move the pawn up one. Not the best move apparently, but because I guess I blocked some of my, I blocked my bishop. But anyhow, I'm still developing my pawn, so not the best move. I keep going. Okay, I do an exchange. Now, the thing is, they say to take is a mistake, but whatever. I just wanted to... I know he's going to have to do something to take the piece back anyway, and it leaves him vulnerable. So to take is a mistake typically, but if your opponent to take back is going to end up in a compromised position, then you go ahead and do it. Look, that pawn is in a compromised position, that c5 pawn, so why not? And then I attack that pawn again. So now that pawn is under attack, right? And then they move. I'm not too worried. He's attacking with his bishop, my knight on b1. Oh, wait, yeah, b8. So I move my pawn back. Bishop back. I guess I just wanted to attack the queen because I'm eager to do a queen trade. And then they move their bishop. By the way, my thing is I'm not really great with tactics, and the queen kind of is too much of an X factor. So yes, I'm not really the best player, so I just try to exchange queens just to take uncertainty out. I'm more positional, right? Okay, so then I attack the pawn. So now it's a double attack. Put a lot of pressure there. And now I am getting attacked myself. So I take the pawn, and I don't know. I took it thinking that was a good move. For some reason it wasn't, and I analysis-wise it wasn't a good move, but anyway, I felt like I could at least, attack the bishop that way, but they moved their bishop back, and that was a bad move by the computer. So then I slide my knight out of harm's way. Typical move, get your knight out of harm's way when a pawn's attacking, duh. And then that's a simple trade in my book. So I went ahead and traded. And now they attack my knight. And you know what I'm going to do? Boom, I trade. I don't care. I'm ahead in material, or at least setup, so whatever. They trade pieces, logical play. My knight is under attack. I'm probably going to move it. There you go, I moved it. And now I'm attacking their bishop too. So, when you get your piece out of harm's way, it's a nice bonus to be able to attack the opposing piece somewhere. So and they move back. I add some defense here. And I also figured, like, when this pawn moves, this c6 pawn moves, I'm going to have a discovered attack on the knight. So there you go. And then they attack. It's a pretty good attack, actually. So I just decided to shore up some defense on my bishop. And I guess I kind of gave away the pawn right there. He didn't take it. So I move up one to attack their pawn. And I create a pawn chain. And now they're doubling up their knights. But look, my knights are also kind of lined up together. So, you know, I decide to trade pieces. I like to do this kind of thing. Yes, it's not the best move according to the engine, but anyway, they see I have double pawns. I like to create double pawns. That's an inconvenient setup for the opponent. And then I move my rook to attack the rook, and I feel good because that rook has two defenses. It's defended by another rook and it's defended by the knight. So they then move there. I don't know why. So I take a pawn because it's available. Apparently that's not a great move. And then they push forward. And my move is to attack the... Oh, yeah. That was a blunder, because what they can do now is create a pin the knight to the king, and that's a free knight for them. And that's knight for me if they figured that out. But fortunately, they didn't. So that was a mistake. And they went back, and now my king needs to... I could have created an outpost. As you see, the engine is saying create an outpost with the knight. Instead, I decided to swap pieces. All right, so not really improving my position that way, but I'm still ahead. And now my knight is saved. It's protected. And now they got some good setup here with the bishops. They can really attack. The bishop is attacking the knight and pinning the knight to the king. So the only thing to do, well, there's a couple of things you can do, but I guess I decided to move my king because I didn't want to get checked and lose my knight. So that was it. They moved again. I don't know what that was for. So I decided to add some defense. Now I have a passed pawn with a rook defending it. That's a good setup. And now they're moving their bishop or whatever. I'm not sure, you know. And then I attack their bishop. I'm feeling really good at this point. I'm like, whoa, I'm up ahead. 5.5, the engine is even saying. And they slide back, and then I attack the other bishop. But look, they're getting set up for a little bit of an attack here with these bishops, you know, blocking a lot of lanes here. But anyhow, the engine says to move my knight. Instead, I move my bishop. This wasn't a great move, but I'm still at some advantage, and I'm attacking that bishop because I'm trying to get that top square. I want to promote my pawn. And now he's attacking my pawn back here. And let's see what I do next. So I guess the idea is I'm thinking, oh, look, I can attack the rook and I can attack a pawn. But not such an amazing move because the rook can then attack my bishop and defend that pawn. And that's what he does. So now what do? I need to defend my bishop. So I do that. That's a simple one. That was a good move. And now he gets a double attack. He's attacking a pawn and a knight. And now I'm a little bit of trouble here. So I figure out something. And I have to move the rook up one. Why? Because if I don't move that rook up one, what ends up happening is he could take my knight and attack. He could take my pawn. And that's just free. Or he could attack my knight and then, or if I move my knight, my rook gets taken. So anyway, I move up one, he takes, and I don't mind that take. Why? Because I can take back with this rook and this knight, and I do, and I attack the rook. And then the rook attacks me back, but I'm, you know, in the mood for swapping. So I swap, and then I move my knight into an outpost. Now it's a very solid position. And they take, I take back, and now it's game over. Because my opponent just has this pathetic little knight bishop, And I have a passed pawn. And so, yeah, the rest is game over. I just develop now. Yeah. There's not much to say at this point. Right? There you go. Boom. And checkmate. What?